Hello dear students, I welcome to all of you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning. Dear students, this is Dhiraj Mondol, Assistant Professor, JS College of Engineering, and you know that we are discussing a subject that is refrigeration and air conditioning, ME 504. This course is basically dedicated to BTech third year student. Total lecture will be delivered 36 lecture will be delivered, and the credit of this subject is 3. Before coming to this discussion, let us talk about the current status of JIS College of Engineering. Right now, the JIS College of Engineering, you know that it is the JIS group, it is the biggest group in the Eastern India, and right now the admission is open. You can call this number for any kind of inquiry. This is the mail ID of the admission cell, and this is the website of the JIS college. Okay, so welcome to mechanical engineering department in case you want to join. Before coming to the syllabus topic discussion, let us introduce myself. I am Dhiraj Mondol, Assistant Professor, JIS College of Engineering, Department of Mechanical Engineering. All the video lecture will be uploaded in my YouTube channel DM Study Center. You can connect me here. Any kind of PDF or notes you can join here in my Telegram channel DM Study Center Official. And this is my Facebook page. Email ID, all the assignment will be you have to submit it here. And this is my phone number. Any kind of admission related query or any kind of subject related query, you can call me here. So let us start. So you know that last few classes I have taken where the aircraft refrigeration system we are discussing. So air refrigeration system introduction, air refrigeration system working on reverse Carnot cycle, then air refrigeration system how to calculate the COP of the heat pump, some numerical were discussed. Then we have discussed the Brayton cycle, reverse Brayton cycle, or it is also called Bell-Coleman or Joule cycle. So this cycle was discussed in the few classes I have taken this class. Okay, now after that what I have discussed, the merit and demerit of air refrigeration system, some example taken and that example were discussed. And with the previous class we have discussed the aircraft refrigeration system, what is the advantage of the air refrigeration system. DART was discussed, type of refrigeration system, where we have seen that there are mainly 4 types: basic or simple air refrigeration system, bootstrap air refrigeration system, regenerative air refrigeration system, reduced ambient air refrigeration system. But in your syllabus, basic or simple air refrigeration system are there, without and with evaporative cooling also it is completed. Now today we will be discussing about the bootstrap air refrigeration system without evaporative cooling and with evaporative cooling, both will be discussed. So I hope you are getting helpful by this initiative taken by JIS College of Engineering. So this was your basic or simple air refrigeration system without evaporative cooling. What I have told that here basically evaporator is not used, and the particular refrigeration effect we are getting, and main compressor is basically using for compressing the air, which is basically used for air refrigeration purpose, also used for gas turbine. This is the TS diagram. Some discussion was the derivation also it is discussed. With evaporative cooling also discussed. Just you can see here the extra evaporator is used. By the help of that we can get this extra amount of refrigeration effect. And this is your very important numerical, which also I have completed last class. Now today we will be discussing about the bootstrap air efficiency system without evaporative cooling. So here you can see bootstrap air efficiency system. The RAM is basically utilized in two heat exchanger. You can see this is your RAM here. The RAM air is utilized in two heat exchanger for cooling purpose. The air from the main compressor, this is your main compressor, is first cooled by the air in first heat exchanger. This is your first heat exchanger. Okay, the same air is again compressed in the compressor. This is your secondary compressor. It is again compressed. Compressor run by the cooling turbine. This is your cooling turbine, cooling expander or turbine. You can say this secondary compressor. It is run by this expander. Okay, expander turbine, and then led to the second heat exchanger 2, where again it is cooled by ram air. This ram air is coming, and it is cooled by ram air before passing to the cooling turbine. Then what happened? The ram air is provided with short path and exit jet, and there is no fan to be blow in and discharge ram air. So the function, you can see this is a duct. Now the from the ambient air is taken into inside the duct. When it is entering here, it is called your ram air. This ram air, some part of the air is coming to the main compressor. This main compressor compress the air, ram air, and some part of the compressed air is coming to the gas turbine. Already I have told. Let us consider this is your compressor, this is a combustion chamber, and this is your turbine. And this turbine is basically operated by this high pressure, high temperature gas. Okay. So here in the combustion chamber, compressed air is needed. So this is your main compressor. From the atmosphere, the air is taken and it is coming compressed in the main compressor. Then it is fed to the combustion chamber. This is your combustion chamber here. So, and we are getting work done in the work turbine. This is running by open cycle Brayton cycle, Brayton cycle. Now this compressor, main compressor, is operated by this gas turbine. Okay, and same in the same way, when that means one main compressor is needed to operate air refrigeration system as well as gas turbine. So here in the main compressor, some part of the air is coming to the combustion chamber and some part of the air, compressed air, is coming to the heat exchanger, where this the pressure is increased, also temperature is increased, but that temperature should be minimized because we need to get a refrigeration effect in the cabin. So when it is passing through this heat exchanger 1 at this, and the ram air is passing through this way, so that the ram air is taking some sensible heat from the compressed air, and it is exit, you can see, and this that means sometime you will see that the turbine, the temperature of the compressed air is getting minimized. Okay, now it is coming to the secondary compressor. Why? Because in the secondary compressor, that means the air should be flowing to the combustion cabin. So by the help of this secondary compressor, again this air is derived and this air is sending to the cooling turbine, but before this sending to the cooling turbine, it is passing through this heat exchanger 2, where again some ram air is coming and it is basically some sensible heat is taken from that by this ram air, and again it is exit point. So this air is again cooling down. Am I right? And also this secondary compressor is operated by the cooling turbine. That means there is not any kind of energy needed, okay, extra amount of energy, because already this cooling turbine is expand, it is an expanding device, so that some work will be done by the system. And here it is here in the cooling turbine, it is expanding, and we are getting very low temperature air, but in the cabin temperature, okay, cabin pressure. So cabin pressure, low temperature air we can get here, that is your refrigeration effect. And in the cabin you can see a lot of passenger are there, and that passenger basically they are releasing carbon dioxide, so that the cabin temperature again increased. So again some refrigeration effect is done like this. So this is how the total cycle is operated. So one more thing I want to mention, that main compressor whatever we are using here, that main compressor is basically used to provide compressed air inside the cabin as well as in the combustion chamber. Okay. Now if I am talking about the process, so here basically the TS diagram, if I am drawing the TS diagram, you can easily see these are the constant pressure line. P is equal to constant, P is equal to constant. So these are the constant pressure line in the TS diagram. Now 1 to 2, 1 to 2 you can see here. So the from the ambient air is coming to the duct, and we are getting ram pressure, okay. So 1 to 2 is your isentropic process. Here you can see ambient air is coming to the ram, entering into the duct, and it is called ram air right now. Now 2 to 3 is basically what happened in this diagram. You can see 2 to 3 is basically main compressor, the air is compressed isentropically. Then 3 to 4 heat exchanger 1, then 4 to 5 secondary compressor, air is compressed, then 4 to 5 to 6 heat exchanger 2, then 6 to 7 cooling turbine, and 7 to 8 it is your temperature, it is raised in the cabin, okay. So the process, if I want to mention all the process here, so process 1 to 2 is your ramming of air. Process 1 to 2. Process 1 to 2 is your ramming of air. That means it is your ambient pressure, atmospheric pressure, cabin pressure, ram pressure, main compressor, secondary compressor. So 1 to 2 is the ramming of air. 2 to 3 is called compression of air in main compressor, isn't it? 2 to 3 compression of air in the main compressor. Now 3 to 4 is your cooling of compressed air by ram air. So by the help of reheat exchanger or ram air, you can see cooling is basically cooling down, the compressed air is cooling down. Then 4 to 5 is your compression of air in secondary heat exchanger. In the secondary heat exchanger, the air is again compressed. Then 5 to 6 is your again cooling of compressed air by ram air in secondary heat exchanger, second heat exchanger. Now 6 to 7 is your expansion in the cooling turbine. Okay, so expansion in the cooling turbine to cabin pressure. Up to cabin pressure it is expanding. Okay. Next, this is your 6. This is your 7. 7 to 8 is your air getting heated to cabin temperature. Okay. So this is what it is written here. You can see 1 to 2 ramming air is rammed. 2 to 3 main compressor, air is compressed. 3 to 4 heat exchanger 1 or cooling down in the by the help of ram air. 4 to 5 is equal to what? 4 to 5 is equal to air is again compressed by the help of secondary compressor. 5 to 6 is equal to heat exchanger 2 which is operated and it is cooling down, the air is cooling down by the help of the ram air. 6 to 7 is your air is expanding in the cooling turbine, and 7 to 8 is equal to, this is your 8, 7 to 8 is equal to temperature is raised in the cabin. Okay, now same process as I have discussed earlier, how we can calculate the mass flow rate, power and COP. If let us consider Q is the ton of refrigeration. Okay, so if Q ton of refrigeration is the cooling load in the cabin, then quantity of air required for the refrigeration purpose will be, so you know that Q is equal to mCp delta T. Now Q is the ton of refrigeration, so mass flow rate is Q by Cp delta T. So 14,000 into Q means, in terms of, you know that 1 ton of refrigeration means 14,000 kilojoule per hour. Okay, so that is why 14,000 multiple 47, so 14,000, so that you will be getting refrigeration effect. So 14,000 Q by Cp into delta T means your refrigeration effect, what you are getting, T8 minus T7, so this is your refrigeration effect. So that is written here, mass flow rate is equal to 14,000 Q by Cp into T8 minus T7 kg per hour. Okay, so this is all about the mass flow rate. Then power required for the refrigeration system, you know, only one power is required in the main compressor. So main compressor power required means your mCp delta T again, Wc is equal to compressor work. So Cp delta T minus your T3 minus T2, this amount of power required in the main compressor. Secondary compressor is basically operated by cooling expander, that is your turbine, and this main compressor is operated by the gas turbine. Okay, so mCp delta T, T3 minus T2 by 3600, why? Because kilowatt, you have to take it in terms of kilowatt. Okay, so P is equal to mCp T3 minus T2 by 3600 kilowatt. This is your power required for the refrigerating system. If I am talking about the COP, so COP is equal to refrigeration effect. So 14,000 Q is the refrigeration effect by work input. Work input means your mCp delta T. So mCp delta T means P into 3600 from this equation. So 14,000 Q by P into 3600 is the COP. So these are the equation which will be needed when you are going to solve the numerical. So this is how you can find out the COP of a refrigeration system. Very less amount of COP will be getting, but this is necessary as we have to take a very lightweight refrigeration system, so we cannot install VARS or VCRS here. And also air is a refrigerant, air is taken as a refrigerant and it is easily available in the atmosphere when it is the particular flight is moving in the atmosphere in the tropopause region. Okay, now you can see with evaporative cooling how it is operating with evaporative cooling. In the same process as I have discussed earlier, only one evaporator is needed extra amount to get extra amount of refrigeration effect. So if you have understood the bootstrap air refrigeration system without evaporative cooling, you can easily understood You can easily understand with evaporative cooling. Because the whole diagram is same, only one evaporator is installed here, which is the matter of discussion here. Okay, same process, ambient air coming to the duct, it is then it is called your ram air, then it is coming to the main compressor, and some part of the ram air is coming to the heat exchanger 1, heat exchanger 2. From the main compressor, air is compressed and it is coming to the combustion chamber to operate the gas turbine. Some part of the air is passing through this heat exchanger and it is cooling down by the help of ram air again. Then some part of the air, then that part of the air is coming to the secondary compressor. Here it is compressed by the help of the cooling turbine or expander, cooling expander. Then it is entering into this heat exchanger 2, where the heat, this compressed air is again cooling down by the help of secondary heat exchanger or heat exchanger 2, secondary heat exchanger. Okay, now this particular air is passing through this evaporator. So as I have discussed earlier, in case of simple or basic air system with evaporative cooling, this is the same function what is happening here. So evaporator, it is basically whenever the air is passing, by the help of evaporation process, the latent heat is taken from the, here the basically sensible heat is taken. Okay, here latent heat is taken from the air passing, coming from the secondary compressor and heat exchanger 2. Then it is evaporated, and by the help of evaporation process some heat is taken and it is coming to the cooling turbine, and suddenly the air is expanding and it is the very cold air we are getting, and we are getting this refrigeration effect in the cabin. We will be we will be realizing that some cold air is coming into the system, which is very effective and desired for the passenger. Okay, now come to the TS diagram, how it is operating and what is the working principle. I hope it is clear. So this is the diagram, and one evaporator is taken. So because of this evaporator, what is happening, what is the effect we are getting, that will be discussed here. So if it is your TS diagram, temperature entropy diagram, and these are the line which is basically constant pressure line. Clear? So these are the line which is constant pressure line. Now let us discuss how this is operated. So first of all, from ambient air is entering into the ram air. So 1 to 2 is your process, 1 to 2 is your ramming of air. Air is ramming. Okay, and it is coming from 1 to 2, that is your ram air we are getting. Now 2 to 3 is your isentropically the air is compressed by the help of this main compressor. So air is compressed in the main compressor. 3 to 4 is your air is getting cold by the help of the ram air, which is passing through heat exchanger 1. This is the heat exchanger 1. Here the air is, that means basically the air is cooling down. Okay, now 4 to 5 is what? 4 to 5 is the, again air is compressed isentropically by the help of the secondary compressor, which is basically operated by the cooling turbine. Clear? By the help of this cooling turbine, this secondary air is operated, this secondary compressor is operated. And 5 to 6 is what? In case of without evaporative cooling, 5 to 6 is the function what is happening in the heat exchanger. But here you can see some difference. The 5 to 6 dash 5 to 6 dash, why it is we are getting? Because we have installed one heat exchanger 2 here and one evaporator. Because of that evaporator, some evaporative effect we are getting. So you can easily understand that here 6 to 6 dash, this extra amount of heat is released or heat is extracted from the system by the help of this evaporator. Okay, so this is the effect. Okay, that means when it is moving from 6 dash to 6 to 6 dash, then this amount of temperature is minimizing or temperature is down. So 6 to 6 dash, so this amount of temperature is basically minimizing. Now in the cooling turbine, it is again expanding. Okay, so we are getting 6 dash to 7 dash. Okay, and in case of without evaporative cooling, we are getting 6 to 7. Okay, now you can realize, so 7 dash to 6 dash, 7 dash to 6 dash and 6 to 7, sorry, it is your 8. So now you can realize 8 minus 7 dash and 8 minus 7, which one is maximum? This is your maximum. So this maximum amount of heat refrigeration effect we are getting here, delta 2 is maximum in case of with evaporative cooling. So that is why we can easily say that maximum refrigeration effect we are getting in case of with evaporative cooling. Because of this evaporative cooling, we are getting this 7 minus 7 dot, this amount of refrigeration effect. So ultimately our motto is to get highest amount of refrigeration effect. So that is why bootstrap air refrigeration system is basically used for getting maximum air COP. So now here COP, same process, same formula. What we can write here, the mass flow rate is equal to 14,000 Q by a Cp delta T. Delta T means your T6 minus T8 minus T7 dot. This is the mass flow rate. Power is equal to what? M Cp T3 minus T2, same power needed, am I right, by 3600 kilowatt. If I am talking about the COP, then it will be Q into 14,000 by P into 3600. So all the thing will be same as the bootstrap air refrigeration system without evaporative cooling. Only instead of 7 you have to write 7 dot, that's all. Okay, so you can see this is the only here, basically instead of 7 you have to write 7 dot, nothing else, and all the value will be same. Okay, so this is all about the bootstrap air refrigeration system with and without evaporative cooling. I hope it is clear. Now before ending this video, let us discuss the admission is open in JS College of Engineering. In case you want to join JS College of Engineering, please contact this number. This is the email ID, and this is your website. So always welcome. In case of any question about this subject, you can connect me in the YouTube channel. Okay, if in any admission purpose related admission related issue, you can call me here in this number, or you can email me. This is my YouTube channel, DM Study Center. All the video lecture will be uploaded here. Please don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon to get everyday notification. For notes, Telegram channel you can follow, and this is my Facebook page. Okay, so I hope it is clear how the air refrigeration system is operated. Next class we will be discussing vapor compression refrigeration system, very important for your exam point of view. and after that we will be discussing vapor absorption reference system. Okay, so today up to this, thank you for listening. Jai Hind.